Here we go again, talking about the AI bubble. The market is crashing, things are going insane. Everybody say AI is just a big bubble. There are massive short, I think, on Nvidia stocks. But let's analyze this. Okay, first of all, when they say people are selling, in reality, someone else is buying. Okay, so it's just an exchange of hands. Usually are the weak hands that sell out, so the strong one are gonna buy it. This if AI is not something that we don't need. Okay, because if we need AI, there's value. If we don't need AI, then it's not value. Okay, there's no value in this technology, therefore it's overpriced, therefore we don't need it, and therefore it makes sense to sell it. But if there is value in this technology, then acquiring asset makes sense. So now the point here is it overpriced? It's overpromised? So in a short term, we can see, from my point of view, and this is not financial advice, but analyzing the market, analyzing what's happening with AI, the narrative out there, and so on, what I can see is that they have been promising some amazing PhD level AI that's gonna do work for hours and hours by itself, doing amazing things. In reality, we don't get this. Okay, in reality, we have an AI that we need to hold by hand, otherwise it just hallucinate, make mistakes, produce low quality output, and so on. So there is a gap between what is being sold to us and what actually we get. Now, is this justifying the massive sell-off of stocks? Does this justify to talking about a bubble? That, of course, is a personal decision. What is happening is that we can't trust the narrative out there because it's all about manipulation. Okay, the narrative is always trying to guide people emotion to sell or buy or do or take some action. So it's the media are being used by corporation and banks and so on to create narratives that pay back to them. So if the narrative now is to sell, can be two things. Someone else wants to buy and need people to sell, so otherwise they can't buy. Okay, so the best thing is to create panic, so the people will start selling, and at the moment they start selling, the other people, corporation and so on, are gonna start buying. This is usually, it's always happening, this thing, there is always a market manipulation. This doesn't mean that it's the fact that there is a bubble or not, it's out of the equation, okay? I personally don't believe there is a bubble. And again, this is not financial advice, so do what you think is right. But I don't believe it because I can see use for AI. I can see that I'm using it every day, and I'm not using it less. I know people that are using it more and more. So the demand is there, and there is scarcity for both electricity and microchip to run the amount of AI that people require. This is the growing technology we ever had in our history. So it's growing really fast. Adoption is extremely fast. So that means to me that there is no bubble. In a short term, we have a problem, okay? The problem of dealing with the fact that we are not getting what we want, okay? Dealing with the fact that that's, okay, AI is helping me, but it's also creating some problem. In the sense, I need to hold this end and there's a lot of interaction. But from there to say that is a bubble, to me sounds like market manipulation. Sounds like there is a lot of buyers that want to buy. There is sometimes even there's another need. There is another need as well. Okay, sometimes it's about cutting investment to other company. So let's say, just to say, I'm not accusing anybody. Okay, but let's say a bigger corporation could be like Google, for example, Microsoft. They could think, okay, I need to slow down the amount of investment that OpenAI and Anthropic or whatever other company is receiving. How do I do it? AI, Google doesn't need the NVIDIA chip. Okay, they build their own. So what they can say, okay, they push down NVIDIA. They say there is a bubble, and people start selling. Therefore, there is skepticism, and even though this market is gonna self-adjust after a while, they already made maybe waste like a month or two out of the investment. In a exponential growth, 1 month or two is a lot. Okay, in a technology where every single month something is happening, so slowing the other is really important. Okay, it's not for me. It's not ethical correct, but this is what's happening. Okay, we saw this. Even if you see, for example, Elon Musk suing OpenAI. Okay, to me, okay, I can see the meaning. I can see the reason why, and there is money and so on. But mainly, what is needed for Elon Musk is to slow down the biggest competitor, OpenAI, so XAI has time to catch up. Okay, that is a strategy. We saw this many times. Apple did it to Samsung. Okay, we saw this so many times that to me it feels more like there are maybe a micro bubble. They leverage on this micro bubble to create this bigger narrative, but I use AI, so I can see other people using it. I can see the need for more and more of this technology, more electricity, more microchip, and so on. This thing is not slowing down. Okay, it's getting better and better. It's not. It doesn't look like yeah, it's not happening. Yeah, the progression is not fast enough. No, no, this technology is improving to a speed that we never saw before. So it's true that it's been overpromised, okay, and that led to massive investment. And those investment is unclear how to recoup them because there is. Okay, let's talk about this other part. Okay, I'm gonna explain this other part. Okay, business-wise, there is a problem that is connected to the return of investment. So there is a time connected to the investment that people be made. This time require also, I mean, because the investment is so big, so what is required that a lot of people need to actually use AI massively to recoup of that investment within a specific amount of time. Now, because the investment was so big, what needs to come back is something huge, massive, a really life-changing moment in our history. Okay, things that is in somehow we can see AI is going in that direction, but there are some major friction, some major problem. Okay, they are just naming two problems. So to achieve that amount of implementation of AI in our industry, in our work, that means we need an incredible amount of electricity. Okay, we are not ready. We don't have the infrastructure for that kind of electricity. So the demand for AI will be so much that we don't have this electricity enough to support those systems. They are building a new power station. The corporation itself are buying power station and building them to to create electricity for their AI system. But the time required to build this technology, to build the infrastructure, to the amount of CPU needed. This is the other problem. The amount of CPU needed are so high that the production of them is not gonna meet the requirement. So if let's say that this investment need to recoup within 5 years, means in 5 years we need an infrastructure that is impossible to build. We need an amount of microchip that is impossible to have. So that means that investment it's within a bubble, but a bubble that is not because the AI is not worth it. It's because it's impossible to recoup those money within the specific framework. So unless something else happen, unless new technology is coming out, meaning we need less power, we optimize the model, therefore with the same architecture we have, with the same amount of electricity that we use and the number of microchip we use, we can deliver much better quality of token, so better AI. Unless this is happening, then we have a problem. Now, nobody knows what is going to happen. Nobody knows the future. Okay, so don't trust anybody that said this is what is going to happen. Okay, so each one of us has their own opinion, their own view of what could happen. My view is we are not in a real financial bubble, so the risk is not as expressed. The technology is not, we are not getting the technology we have been promised. Okay, the technology is not ready to replace human, but is ready to augment human, in the sense myself with my custom AI, I can deliver much more than just myself. Okay, and therefore the skill that we need to learn is to create this custom AI so we can be more productive. Now, the bubble scenario, it's mainly connected to finance. Okay, and always remember this: when they say someone they're selling, they can only sell if someone is buying. Okay, so that is pure narrative manipulation. They're selling, no, or you can say, they are buying. So it's just narrative manipulation. What is happening is because they are selling fast, the price is dropping. Okay, it's just about speed. And but they are buying fast, okay, but they're buying fast because the prices goes drop, so the demand is there at a lower price, and therefore people are purchasing those stocks. So always be careful how this narrative is being sold to you. Remember, there are people buying as much as someone is selling. Okay, they're just buying at a price that they think is the correct price. Price can keep going down, of course. So again, this is not financial advice, but you need to think about: is this a bubble? Is the end of AI? It just is going to disappear? I don't think so. So if you like this topic, this kind of discussion, please like and subscribe. Also, let me know what you think about what is happening. If you think we are in a bubble, if you think AI is completely useless, and share your thoughts. See you next time. Ciao.